Okay, so there we go. So welcome to the class where we are going to go over how to launch a fashion business without having any prior experience. My goal in this training is to show you exactly how to use the Launch Your Business Blueprint to actually launch your fashion business. So this is the method that I created to help hundreds of aspiring fashion brand owners launch their dream fashion business. So this training is for aspiring fashion brand owners who want to launch their business without all of the guesswork, right? So it's going to be really fun. You're going to learn a lot. I'm glad you're here because I'm assuming that you are someone who wants to find a reliable factory with low minimums, right? Without worrying about the quality or without worrying that they're going to stop replying to your emails or any of those things. And I also assume that you want to stop worrying that only your friends and your family will buy your product once you launch. This is a common one, right? And I'm assuming that you don't want to waste money on things that aren't necessary for launching a product or a business. It's a waste and it's not fun. Now, this training is not for you if you don't like free content that is followed up by a really cool, valuable offer, okay? So now I do have a free bonus that I'll be sharing at the end for all my action takers out there. It's the Instagram Fashion Templates bundle. So if you are anything like me at all, you do not like spending time trying to figure out what to post on Instagram. So it feels like a big waste. And this is a bundle of 23 easy plug and play design templates and 150 pre-written captions that you can copy and paste. But let's keep moving on. So how many of you are aware of Diane von Furstenberg? I'm assuming a lot of you. She built an empire in this industry, and she remains a pretty sought after brand for decades. Now, let's say that Diane, in her like really dramatic and all-knowing tone, says to you, darling, I want to give you $20,000 dropped into your bank account directly. But in order to get this money, you have to compete with someone else. The first person to take action, move past indecision, create a plan, develop a product, and build an audience of engaged potential customers wins the money. Now, you have two choices on how to approach this contest. Your first choice is to be Wendy. So Wendy is a wheel spinner. Okay, so Wendy stresses out because she's never done this before. Wendy also spirals into indecision because she has no plan and she is constantly guessing. She spends hours online searching for pattern makers and sample makers and factories only to email them and never hear back. And Wendy tries her best, but she is never clear about who her ideal customer is, making it impossible to sell to anyone except her sister and her best friend on launch day. And then there's Brenda. Brenda approaches this contest so differently. So this is what Brenda does. Brenda has spent time working on her mindset, so she is confident that she won't let challenges slow her down. She created a step-by-step plan with a proven blueprint so that she's constantly reminded of what she has to do and she's not guessing like what do I focus on today, right? What do I do today? She knows what she's doing in the months leading up to launch, and that's a really good feeling. So she works with a reliable factory and she can create her product in small batches that she can actually afford to order. And she knows exactly who her ideal customer is. So she can easily sell to them on launch day and beyond, which is really important, right? That's how Brenda approaches this contest. And here's the thing, you get the option of launching your business in either of these ways, right? You get to choose if you're going to be Wendy or you're going to be Brenda. You wake up every day and make this decision. So when you wake up, are you going to say like, you know, what am I doing? What should I focus on? Where am I trying to get to? Any of these things? Or are you going to have this plan and feel like, okay, I know what I'm going to do today, and I know what I'm going to focus on to reach my goals. So the truth is that it's not actually easy to go the Brenda route because It requires a lot of focus and it can feel a little uncomfortable at first, but it is the route to success. So you get to decide which route will you choose. So hi, if we have not met yet, I'm Nicole, and my goal is to help all of the Wendy's of the world become Brendas. And here's the thing, when it came to all of this, why I decided to do what I do, I was really, really tired of hearing fashion business experts say that you needed all of these things in order to launch a business, right? So 50,000, 100,000 or more to launch a fashion business, or that the only way to reach people is to sell your product to really well-known department stores, or that you need to be based in a place like New York City, or that you need mentions in Vogue in order to launch a successful business. And I know that none of that is true, and that it's totally possible to launch a business that you want and not the business that people say you should have. And that is why I created the Launch Your Business Blueprint, right? That's when it was born. And I created this blueprint to show aspiring brand owners what's possible, right? I want you to know what is possible. So what is this blueprint? The Launch Your Business Blueprint is a step-by-step solution that I created after helping hundreds of aspiring fashion brand owners launch a fashion business without them having any prior experience doing so. So it allowed them to ditch the Wendy approach for good, so they could create a clear plan for their business. They could find a factory that they can trust with low minimums, and they can build an audience of ideal customers ready to buy. I saw so many Wendy's struggling to reach their goals, and all I wanted was to create a method that helped them to stop with all the guesswork and start making actual progress. So I helped them ditch the Wendy approach and go for the Brenda approach. So if you want to ditch the Wendy approach and go for the Brenda approach, we're about to break this all down. And so you can avoid that whole feeling like, I'm not sure what I'm doing, so I'm just going to keep guessing and hope for the best. That approach is not good. It doesn't feel good and it doesn't work. So let's start by tackling some of the common mistakes. So mistake number one, mistake number one is very common. It's all about not knowing how much money you need and don't need to launch your fashion business. So I'm assuming that this is going to sound familiar, but has anyone here ever felt like every time you turn around, there's something new that you need to spend money on when you're preparing to launch? It is a terrible feeling. So it's really easy to believe one of these two polar opposite myths: that you can launch a fashion business without having any money, or that you need $50,000 or more to launch a business. So neither of these things is true. Okay, so I want you to know that neither of those things are true. It's so easy to ignore the need to create a plan for how much money you should have. It's easy to just wing it, because as a self-funded business, the tendency is to just use what you have coming in from your day job or from your savings, rather than sitting down and saying, okay, here's what I'm going to need, here's what I have, and therefore here's what I need to make. And when that happens, it's easy to grossly underestimate what you need to launch a business. So I hear this all the time. I've spent all my money on getting the product made. I have no money left for marketing, so I just have to do free marketing. That is not going to cut it. It's so easy to never actually launch your brand if you have no plan that includes the what and the how around money. So you're left with all of these questions about what you need to spend money on and how much it will actually cost. So like, how much does it even cost to make a dress, right? I need how many rounds of samples? Can I just take the photos myself? Do I have to hire help for PR? Is it possible to get a loan? So when you're not clear on what all goes into launching a fashion business, how can you know what you'll need to spend? You can't, it's not possible. So let's lay out what you need money for. The main things to think about are, number one, your product development. So this is the process of going from an idea to a finished sample that's ready for production. This includes your fabrics or your materials. It includes your pattern maker, your sample maker, your grading services, multiple rounds of samples. You will need to pay for multiple rounds of samples. Be ready for that. Don't let that come out of nowhere for you, okay? Number 2, your pre-launch marketing. How are you going to reach people to build that audience before you launch? This is so important, and you have to know what you're going to do. Even the marketing strategies that seem like they're free have costs associated with them. Like email marketing. You need to pay for an email platform. You need to pay for a landing page to collect those emails. There's costs associated with these things, and you need to be planning for them. And then number 3 is your launch inventory. So this one requires you to address what kind of business you are going to launch, right? So you need to think about, how are you going to sell? Is it going to be only direct to consumer on your website, or will you sell at pop-ups and events that are direct to consumer? Will you sell wholesale to boutiques? Will you do pre-sales? Your answers to these questions are directly related to your inventory plan, which is directly related to your money plan, which is directly related to your business plan, right? There's a lot of planning. So you need to work out these costs associated with each of these areas. And then you need to decide how you will get the money that you need, right? So when it comes to funding your business, it's important to break down your options. Do you have savings? Will you take out a small business loan? Will you use your job and take a portion of your paycheck and put it towards your business? If so, what portion? Will you crowdfund? This is what I mean about the what and the how around money. You have to get clear on that. And the plan does not just apply to making to the money part, right? So the money part actually comes at the end of your business plan. You need to cover some key areas. You need to think about your production. You need to think about your marketing. You need to think about your sales, and you need to think about your financials. This is what goes into a business plan. And we're going to dive deeper into this, but I wanted to just touch on this as one of the mistakes that I see early on. So with this plan for production, marketing, sales, and inventory, you can have a really clear understanding of how much money you need. But without the plan, you have no idea how much money you need to launch the business. And that doesn't feel good. Everything feels like a guessing game. And costs come, out of nowhere, and you just feel surprised, and you feel not like focused and settled. It feels weird. It feels icky. And having no idea about how much money you need, you wind up spending on the fly for things that are not important. And you avoid spending on the things that are important. So here's a hot tip. If you haven't been paying attention up until now, pay attention to this. I can't tell you how many times I've heard an aspiring brand owner say, do you think I can skip this next round of samples and just hand this like pretty good version to my factory? The answer to that is always no. And I know why they're asking. They're asking because it costs money to do samples. It costs money. But here's the thing, and here's where the big tip is. Your finished samples are your contract with your factory. The samples that you hand your factory are what you are saying, follow this. And it doesn't matter how many different emails you've sent or how many different notes you've written on your tech pack saying, this is mostly right, but make sure that this is a little bit shorter, or this is a little bit different. None of that matters. When you hand that sample, it better be exactly what you want to see. And if it isn't, you're the one who's going to be stuck with the cost of the fixes, because they're going to say, we followed the sample, right? And so if you're not aware of the fact that you have to spend on multiple rounds of samples, and then you start cutting the costs or cutting corners there because you're feeling a little anxious about the money, then you're going to find yourself making really costly mistakes. And that is never fun. So you do not want to be cutting corners in the wrong places. And the only way to avoid that is to be aware of what you're going to need money for, so that you're not trying to cut those corners. If you have no plan, what happens? You will never feel focused and on track with the business that you want to launch, because everything is guesswork and up in the air. So without a plan, you have no idea how much money you will need to launch or how to spend that money. Okay, now mistake number 2. This is a big one. Waiting for everything to be perfect. Feel free to raise your hand if if this is you, okay? So I see this a lot because most aspiring brand owners are launching something that is very personal to them. So this can cause them and you to feel like a perfectionist or to be a perfectionist. The problem with perfectionism is that it causes a slowdown that is so extreme that you usually stop. You're waiting for the perfect fabric or materials, you're waiting for the perfect factory, you're waiting for the perfect designs. And listen, nobody and nothing is perfect. If you wait for perfect, you will never launch. So let's talk more about this. Perfectionism is a mindset problem. You're allowing yourself to believe that you can't put something out into the world if it isn't perfect. Where does this come from? Fear. Fear that you'll be judged and fear that you'll fail. Then, when you start letting fear take hold, you spend hours and hours calling, emailing, searching the globe for the perfect suppliers, the perfect factories, the perfect sample makers, the perfect website designers, the perfect buttons, the perfect zippers, you name it, the perfect everything. And you're stuck in that, right? And all of this leads to so much frustration, and you start to believe that the resources that you need don't exist. And then you say, why did I even start this? What am I going to do now? This is crazy. I should just stop, right? It's very debilitating. So let's think about where you want to be. You want to be here. You want fabric or materials that is close enough to what you had envisioned, even if it's not exactly the same. You want a sample maker and a factory that meets your most important criteria, even if it's not exactly what you had in mind. And you want to make a decision on the styles that you will launch with so that your development team can get those samples made, right? The thing to remember here is that what you're launching is not set in stone. In fact, your first launch will be an incredibly insightful look into what your customer wants and how best you can give that to them. So let's say, Jessica, I remember you from the chat. Let's say that you are going to launch with 5 or 6 styles. Oh, okay, here's another hot tip, so pay attention again if you're not. 5 to 6 styles is the number that I suggest launching with. Okay, this gives enough variety that you can collect data from your customers in terms of silhouettes, in terms of colors, fabrics, all of that. But it isn't so many styles that you need to have $50,000 just to get the product made. So hopefully that has answered a question for those of you who are wondering what to launch with. Okay, so back to Jessica. Jessica, let's pretend you've just launched with 5 styles, okay? Now you're going to get feedback. You're going to get customer reviews, you're going to get returns, you're going to get reorders. And from them, you collect info like the fabric wrinkles too much, or this dress is incredibly comfortable, right? Or this tote bag is so perfect that they're asking for it in another color. All of this information from your first launch helps you plan your second launch, what styles to keep, what styles to drop, what styles to alter. And then you think about it in a way that starts to make sense, right? It helps you put perfect into perspective because instead of worrying about perfection, you're getting strategic. You set up a post-launch data tracking system, and you track things like the reasons for returns and exchanges, any reorders you're getting, any reviews or testimonials you're getting, any social proof that's out there. Are they sharing it? Are they tagging their friends? And you use those takeaways for developing the next season or the next collection or the next drop, whatever your production looks like. So do you see how waiting for perfect starts to matter less, right? So the Launch Your Business Blueprint is the method you need to be using to create your plan and shift your mindset away from this need to be perfect. And that's what we're going to be going over very soon. But I just really want you to know right now that done is better than perfect. And making decisions based on the best options available to you at the time makes it possible to actually launch your fashion business rather than forever talking about working on launching your fashion business. Okay? Okay, so mistake number 3. So I know I'm really fired up and there's like a lot of energy here. I'm just really into taking action and I'm really into forward motion. And it really is upsetting when I see so many aspiring brand owners get really caught up in not taking action because of fear. Of fear of all of the components of the business not being exactly what they had envisioned. And I hate to see it, right? Action launches businesses, not overthinking. Okay, so back to mistake number 3. I'm probably about to get a lot more fired up because this one I see all the time. And it's about being so focused on product development that you don't do any pre-launch marketing. So it's easy to think that you don't need to worry too much about marketing until you have a product launched, right? But when you do that, no one is excited to buy, and that is a big problem. But listen, I get it. Product development is no joke. It's like learning a new language, right? What does this all mean? What do I need to do? Like, I have so many questions. All of that is understandable. And so you focus on getting that product made and you tune out everything else. But you can't use that as an excuse not to market your brand well before you launch anything. I'm talking months and months before you launch anything. Because if you're not talking about what you're working on, then they have no idea what to expect. And they are really confused when they get that email on launch day that says, we've launched. Do you want to buy something? And they're like, who are you? Why would I want to buy something? What is this all about, right? So I see aspiring brand owners do this all the time. They say, well, even if I had the time, I don't even know what to say in my marketing when I don't have a product yet, which I do understand, but I also call BS on. Do you have trouble talking about things that you enjoy doing? Like yoga, books, cooking, rock climbing, whatever your thing is, do you have trouble talking about that? When you are passionate about something, when you value something, you're able to talk about it. And not only talk about it, but you talk about it with passion and with excitement, and you're able to bond with other people over it. And that is the cornerstone of your pre-launch marketing, right? And that's what I want us to do together. I want you to have such a clear plan for what you can talk about with ease in your pre-launch marketing that your relationship with your ideal customer is so strong and they are begging you to launch already, right? They are happily taking out their wallets on launch day. That's the goal. So know this, creating a pre-launch marketing plan and working on it every day is the difference between a sold out launch and launching to crickets. Okay, now this takes me to this idea. It's about this process of going from where you are right now to where you want to be. So point A is where you are right now. And point B is launching the business you dream of, right? So the line that connects those two things consists of having a really strong mindset, of having a clear plan, of developing this product, and of creating an audience that's ready to buy on launch day. And now you know that you have two options for getting there, right? You have the wheel spinner method where you were Wendy and you're trying everything under the sun because you're not sure where to focus. Or you have the business owner method where you were Brenda and you have this clear plan for what you're launching and how to launch it. So I'm going to ask you a question on which approach you want to take with your fashion business. Now, it might seem obvious what that answer is, but I want you to declare it. It is so powerful to say to yourself and to declare, I don't want to keep spinning my wheels. I don't want to keep guessing. I want a plan. I want to make this happen, and I'm determined to do that. So I want you to tell me in the comments who you want to be. Do you want to be Wendy or do you want to be Brenda? I see a lot. Call me Brenda, 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 Brenda. Call me Brenda. I love it. Yes, I'm so determined and want to be Brenda. Obviously, Brenda. I am Brenda, and I love all the exclamation points. This is wonderful. Yes, Brenda. Everybody wants to be Brenda. Yes. Oh, I love this. I love that you all want to be Brendas. It's really great to see. And I will be right there with you, teaching you how to be the Brenda, right? Like how to be focused and a real business owner. You know, this is what I do every day. So I'm so thrilled to see that. And the Brendas are still coming in. That makes me so happy. Okay. So I know we've covered a lot so far, and we are about to move on to like the big reveal of what makes up the method to launch your fashion business. But I want to ask you another question. And this is because I love mindset stuff. Mindset stuff is my thing. And I want to know if you believe that you can launch this fashion business without all the guesswork. Okay. I want you to type yes or no in the chat, because believing that this is possible is the most important part. I need you to know that nothing that I will teach you will matter if you don't believe that this is possible. Yes, I believe. I love it. I love all of the yeses. Yes, 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 yes. This makes me so happy. Yes. And I love that you are saying this, because yes. Okay. There's so many yeses. I'm seeing a ton of yeses, and that's amazing. I love all of your excitement, and I love feeding off of your energy. So thank you for being so engaged. Yes. Awesome. Okay. So here it is, the Launch Your Business Blueprint. We've been talking about this a lot so far, and I want to help you take this idea that's in your head, and I want you to be able to turn it into a product in your hand, ready to sell, right? This is where you want to go. So this is the formula that you're going to follow. This is what you need to do. This is where you're spending your time. Remember, we were talking about all that guesswork and all of the not sure what to do every day. I'm going to take that away from you. So step one is working on establishing your mindset. Step two is actually planning the important components of your business. Step three is developing your product. And step four is marketing your brand. Now I'm going to go over each of these specifically with you. So the first part of the Launch Your Business Blueprint is establishing your mindset so that you're not allowing the inevitable obstacles that will show up to stop you from taking action. I hear all the time from aspiring brand owners, they're like, I'm kind of freaking out. I'm worried. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm really doubting myself, right? And they are letting what's happening in their heads stop them from going after their dreams and goals. And here's the thing about establishing your mindset. This never gets talked about for some reason in fashion programs. I don't know why, but it's been so rewarding for me to hear from members of Startup Fashion who love the fact that we cover this. They love the fact that this blueprint includes working on their mindset, because it helps them to really see that there are things they didn't even realize were holding them back. And it becomes so clear to them once they start doing this work. So first, before we dive in, what happens when our mindset is not strong? We let fear run the show, we let obstacles get in our way, and we start to shut down. We get stuck because we doubt ourselves and we worry that every decision we're making is wrong. And that is when we stop taking action on our goals. Doubt and fear are business killers, okay? So I want you to remove the doubt and the fear and start implementing habits that establish a strong mindset. We have to kick the bad habits and develop new ones that strengthen your confidence, remove the fear, squash the doubt, and allow you to take action on your goals. Because habits are muscles that we strengthen. If we have good habits, then that strengthening is a good thing. If we have bad habits, then that strengthening works against us. So identifying what you're believing about your own abilities and about the business that you're building, and making sure that those beliefs strengthen you in a good way, right? And that is at the foundation of a business ownership. So here's the thing. When you develop new habits, you get new results. The new habits help you to get clear on your on what you should be doing. They help you get rid of the negativity that's going on in your head. They help you take action when you're scared, and you were scared before, so you haven't been taking action. And then they let you experience the result you actually want. This is what making real progress towards launching your business looks like. So I'm going to take a sip of water, but let's go over this together. Okay, so I call this the obstacle buster system. So this is the solution that I created that helps you get clear on what's holding you back so you can develop new mindset habits and get the results that you actually want. So step one of launching your business is, like I said, establishing your mindset. And there are three main areas you need to focus on: fear, confidence, and drama. Okay, so it's important to go deep with this work and really get to the root of what's holding you back. So fear shows up in areas like spending money and in marketing, right? How many of you, raise your hand in the chat, how many of you are too terrified to do Instagram lives or Instagram stories, even though you know that doing so helps you create a bond with your audience, right? That's fear. That's fear of looking silly. That's fear of messing up. Yes, 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 me. I see some nopes that you love it, and that's great. It's awesome that that is not a fear that holds you back, but it is a very common one. Yes, 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 yes. Lots of yeses. Exactly. That is fear, fear of looking silly and fear of messing up. And then the money part, and this is a doozy around money, it's this fear of spending money in your business. But fear of spending money does not allow you to grow. You have to face the fact that businesses cost money. You don't need $50,000, you don't need $100,000, but you do need to spend some money. If you're going to do this, you cannot let fear of spending money get in your way. Now, confidence. Confidence shows up most in how we make decisions and how we sell our products. Okay, so the work you do in this area will help you to take action more quickly. It will help you to be a better leader, and it will remove that feeling of being salesy that keeps so many people from actually growing a business. Right? So when you're prepping for launch day, you really need to work on your confidence so that you're not saying, ooh, I don't want to send them too many emails because I'm going to be bugging them. No, you have a business. You have to sell things. So you have to work on the confidence bit to get yourself to a place where you feel good about this. Okay? And then lastly, it's drama. So drama comes into play when things don't go as planned in any area of your business. And I am so guilty of this. So please know that I've leaned on the drama crutch myself. So this isn't meant to be reprimanding or anything like that. I'm sharing this because it really helps you to see like how drama can fill our heads and get in our way. So this comes up when you start saying things like, I couldn't get my product made because the factory I hired screwed up, and now what? Never mind, this is taking forever. I'm spending more money. What am I doing? This is crazy. That's you letting drama weasel its way in and keep you from making progress. No one is responsible for the launch of your business except you. And that should be very empowering. And when you work on these three areas, the fear, the confidence, and the drama, you start to develop new positive habits. And those habits get you the results you want. So if you want to launch your fashion business, you cannot ignore establishing a strong mindset. You just can't. So the second step in the Launch Your Business Blueprint is to create your plan, because your time is valuable and you do not have money to waste, right? So the question is, what needs to be covered in a fashion business plan in order to set clear goals and priorities? The answer is the unconventional business plan approach. I call it this because I do not believe that you need a plan that is so big and involved that you never look at it. The plan helps you get clear on what you should be doing and what you shouldn't be doing. It helps you step away from this all too real situation of the literal or figurative sticky notes everywhere situation, right? I think we have all experienced the too many tabs open problem, right? And you've got to stop that. Raise your hand if you're guilty of this. I was there in the past. I totally understand, but it does not feel good. So I'm telling you, it won't get you where you want to go if you don't have a plan. This whole all over the place, too many tabs open thing. Instead, you really need to create a plan that covers key areas for launch, which is production, marketing, sales, and financials, so that you can start actually checking things off your list and getting closer to your goals, right? Like, I don't know how many of you can relate to this, but I get complete joy and satisfaction from crossing something off or checking something off on a list. It feels so good. And you want that to be the feeling you have on most days leading up to your launch, right? So the unconventional plan approach helps you to create a simple plan, not a book, with focused goals and steps to reach those goals. So let's break it down. To create your plan, you're going to dive into 4 key areas. You have to think about your production. What are you creating? How many styles? How many colors? What size range? Do you need pre-production help like a pattern maker and a sample maker? Or will you do that yourself, right? What kind of factory do you want to work with? What kind of drops are you going to do? What's going to be your production schedule? Like, there's a lot to figure out and plan, and you want to think that through. You want to get that documented. You want to know, okay, this is what I'm working towards. Then there's the marketing bit. Who is your ideal customer, right? Notice I said ideal customer. That part holds up people so much. I know you don't know who your customer is yet. You don't have a business yet, but who is the ideal customer, right? What is your brand all about? What channels will you use to reach new people? Will you need a graphic designer? Will you need a photographer? Will you need a website designer? All of this needs to be thought through and documented so that you're not guessing, so that you don't have 50 tabs open, so that you're not using sticky notes to get yourself, where you need to go, because it won't get you where you need to go. Next in your plan is the sales bit. How will you sell this product, right? E-commerce, I assume you're going to have a website. Will you do pop-ups in markets? Will you sell wholesale? Will you do drop ship? Will you participate in trade shows? Will you do Instagram shopping? What is your plan for selling this stuff once it's made? Too many people don't think about this before they have a product, right? It's like, well, I'm going to get my website up. Okay, what else? What is your plan, right? This is incredibly important and it needs to be thought through. And then lastly, financials. Based on the first three components of the plan, you need to think about what money you need, right? And how you're going to get it. We talked about this in the mistakes. Too many people don't think that part through. So when you have this plan complete, you're able to put goals in place. And then from those goals, you're able to work backwards. You start to think about, okay, what projects require my attention in order to reach those goals? And then you can break it down even further. And you're looking at these different projects that you now know need your focus, and you can ignore everything else. And you say to yourself, okay, now what are the daily tasks that I'm going to do for each of these projects so that I can wake up every day and know this is where I'm spending my time. And so you're not wasting your time and you're not wasting money. You're very, very focused. But without that plan, you can't work backwards to what your day-to-day looks like. So I hope you're seeing that. If you want to launch your fashion business, you need a clear plan that addresses what's important and ignores what's not important. And that's the key, ignoring what is not important. That removes the too many tabs open situation. Okay, step 3 of the Launch Your Business Blueprint. And I hope you're feeling really pumped about this. This is the step. It does not have to be that complicated. It's just, there's a lot to do. You just need to know what to do, right? So this step is all about developing your product. You need to get it made, obviously. So how do you develop a product and go from an idea to being ready to sell? So most people spend months knee deep in uncertainty because product development is not something they have experience in. There's a lot to learn, but there's also this worry that if they don't get it right, they're in trouble, or everything will be wrong. And while it is really important to have a clear plan, remember what I said, perfection is not attainable. This is not your goal. Your goal is to get to the point of having a short list of professionals for your product development and your manufacturing. And it feels really good to know that you've done your due diligence, but you didn't obsess with production. With perfection, right? You didn't obsess with making this exactly perfect. The Get It Made method in the Launch Your Business Blueprint helps you to source the right partners, which are your fabric suppliers, your sample makers, your factories. If you're a jewelry maker, all of your notions, where you're getting everything. If you're going to have people help you create those first samples, whatever you need, it helps you prepare your development tools. So you need a tech pack or a spec sheet. Getting all of this stuff prepared is important. And it also helps you set up your quality control. This gets ignored so often, and it is so, so, so important. Mistakes happen, things happen, but you can put in place a quality control process early on to minimize those mistakes, to minimize lost money. And too many new brands or aspiring brands don't spend the time doing that. And so we really cover this in the blueprint because it is such an important step in the process. So this means you need to think this through, and you need to figure out who you need. You may need some or all of the following. You may need someone to make technical drawings for you if you don't have a background doing that. You may need a pattern maker. You may need to have a tech pack made. You may need a sample maker. You may need a fit model. You may need grading and marking services. You may need a factory for production if you're going to go that route. And you need a quality control process. So to get your product made, you need to know what your process is for having for getting this short list created. So you do want to ask your potential partners a series of questions, and it needs to be about their experience or their specialties, right? Like, what do they do? What do they specialize in? You need to know what their minimums are. Can you meet their minimums? You need to know what their lead time is. You know, how far out until you actually get this product? And another hot tip, whatever they tell you, add 4 weeks. Just add 4 weeks. You don't want to take them at face value for what they say and make a whole bunch of plans around that and then be a little shocked when things take longer than expected. And you need to know whether they're accepting new clients. I know that sounds kind of obvious, but it's amazing how often I have seen aspiring brand owners just assume that the factories want to work with them, right? And so it's like, well, you need to find out if they're even expecting or accepting new clients. And if they're not, when do they expect to? So you can potentially get on their production calendar. You also want to talk to other brands that maybe they've worked with. Now, this one's a little bit, I give this piece of advice with a grain of salt, because everybody's experience with production partners, whether it's a factory, whether it's a sample maker, pattern maker, is different, because different styles have different levels of being complicated. There's different communication styles. Like, just because one person had either a fantastic or a not so great experience with a production partner doesn't mean that that same thing will happen for you. So it's good to have those conversations, but don't let those conversations with fellow brand owners be what makes your decision for you, okay? The other thing you want to do, and this is often skipped, is you want to have a phone call, or if you can, meet with your production partners in person to see what kind of vibe you get. So this is just like when you meet people in life that you either connect with or you get a good vibe from, or you don't. You want to experience that same good vibe with potential partners in your business. So taking the time to have a conversation with them, whether it's through Zoom or you can actually go and meet with them, is a really important step that too many brands ignore. And then you want to, once you have all of that and you've made your short list, you want to start collecting time studies. Now, a time study is how you find out what they are going to quote you as a cost per piece. So you want to be able to get to the point where you have a sample, because you have your short list of development partners, and then you have your short list of potential factories. You want to show them your sample, let them take a look at it, and let them get back to you with what the cost per piece will be, right? So there's a whole process here, and you want to make sure that you're covering all of this. You want to make the decisions on who you'll hire in order to prepare the right tools, to get your prototype made, have a sample made, and order your first batch of inventory, right? That sentence right there, that last bit of order your first batch of inventory, I hope that gives you butterflies. It should, because that's a really exciting part, but there's steps leading up to that. So if you want to launch your fashion business, you need to hire partners and supply them with the right information. You need to have the right tools created. So the last step in the Launch Your Business Blueprint is to market your brand, because you want to have an audience of people that are primed to buy. So the question is, how do you make sure that you have an audience that is excited to buy on launch day? So what happens all the time is that aspiring brand owners are not sure what to say or where to say it. Instagram, Facebook, email, Pinterest, blog, podcast, YouTube, all the options, right? They just go on and on. And then even once you make some decisions on the platforms that you're going to use, you often get stuck because you're not sure what to say, right? But that doesn't happen if you have a pre-launch marketing strategy that develops relationships and has them whipping out their credit card on launch day, right? This is what you want to see. You want to see that on launch day. And in order to see that, you need to have this strategy in place. So the Prime to Buy strategy in the Launch Your Business Blueprint helps you to develop your pre-launch marketing plan, which, by the way, is different than your overall business marketing plan that we talked about in step 2. This is specific in the blueprint. There's an entire step devoted to just the many months leading up to your launch, how you should be marketing your business. So you need to dive into each area to create specific content that will engage and prime your audience before you have anything to sell to them, right? This is really powerful when done right. This means you have to dive into your ideal customer profile and your brand personality profile, right? Those two things have to be created. You have to think about them. And then you have to use those two profiles to determine what value looks like for your audience. So I know that many of you hear this all the time. I hear it all of the time. You hear people say, you have to share things that provide value. And you're like, what the heck does that mean, provide value, right? It's specific to each audience. And you need to work on what value looks like for your customer. So that's why you have to know, who is this ideal customer that I'm trying to reach, so that you can work backwards and start to understand, well, what do they care about? What matters to them? What can I share with them that brings that value that everybody's always talking about? Because then you use those values to create your pre-launch blog plan, your pre-launch email strategy, and your pre-launch social media plan. So all of that goes into demonstrating value. And then you strategically start sprinkling that brand specific content, the whole like, guess what's coming language in your marketing. Because remember, you will eventually have something to sell. You may not have something yet, but you will have something. So you want to prime them. The key here is that you don't want that to be the only thing you're talking about leading up to launch, because when all you talk about is what you're about to launch, their defenses go up. They realize that at some point you're going to be trying to sell them something. But when you're talking about other things, not just what you're working on launching, then their defenses are lowered, because they're feeling connected to you. They're feeling some bond being developed. They're interested in what you're talking about because you're not trying to sell anything yet. But if all you talk about is what you're about to launch, they know. They're like, okay, so they're not opening your emails. They're not engaging with you. And then you're not priming them. You're actually kind of repelling them. So it's finding that balance and working on that strategy months before you launch. Okay, so if you want to launch your fashion business, you need to build an audience of people who are excited by what you're doing. They feel connected to your values because they share them, and they want to buy your products on launch day. So if you take away one thing today from what I've said, I want you to know that you can launch a fashion business even if you have never done anything like this before. Okay, it is totally possible. The big question now is, how can you apply this entire blueprint to your own idea and launch your business out into the world? So like we said earlier, you can choose to be Wendy, constantly working with no focus, no plan, no concept of how you're going to get your product made, no idea if it will be a success. Or you can be Brenda, and you can launch this business with clarity and focus. So it's time for you to stop trying everything and start focusing on the right things. And it's time for you to follow a blueprint that takes the guesswork out of launching, because honestly, that doesn't feel good. It's not fun. And believe it or not, launching a business should be fun. This whole process should be fun. You should enjoy this. And that's what the Startup Fashion Membership was built for. And it's officially open for enrollment, which I'm very excited to share. I am truly excited because I know that this system works. Everything that we've just talked about, I know that it works. I've helped designers launch their business using this whole blueprint. And I really want you to experience that same thing. I want you to stop guessing on what you need to do, and I want you to have those clear steps on what exactly to do to get to your goal. So let's give you a bird's eye view of what's happening in the membership. So this here is what you get when you join the Startup Fashion Membership. The first thing is the Launch Your Business Blueprint, which is the entire system step by step that guides you through launching your business without all the guesswork. This is everything we've been talking about, and we go really deep in this. So again, we don't want you just trying all the different things that could possibly impact your ability to launch your fashion business. We want you focusing on exactly what gets you from where you are right now, trying to launch, to where you want to be, which is launched and ready to sell, right? Remember that feeling of being ready to sell? That's what the Launch Your Business Blueprint is. So the first part of the blueprint is creating new habits and a strong mindset, right? We want to remove those obstacles that are standing in your way. And my favorite part about the Obstacle Buster system is that it takes you through a journey to identify things that are so hidden and so ingrained that you didn't even realize they were issues. And that alone gets you so much closer to launching. Like I said, I'm really into the mindset stuff. Then you have the unconventional business plan approach. So this is where we plan your 4 key areas of your business: your production plan, your sales plan, your marketing plan, and your financial plan. And these plans are keys to focus and effectiveness, right? They squash the guessing game and they bring you so much more clarity. The Get It Made method helps you to turn that idea that's in your head into a product in your hand, right? With not only a step-by-step approach, but we'll give you access to all of the directories that you need: directories of pattern makers, directories of sample makers, factories, fabric suppliers, label makers, trim suppliers, whatever you need, it's there so that you can actually get this product made and not live in that pool of question marks when you're trying to produce a product, but you've never done that before. And then the Prime to Buy method teaches you how to create that audience we were talking about that is really excited and they're ready to become customers on launch day, right? They are ready to buy. And then we have things that are released every single month, like the business growth sessions, which include monthly business planning sessions, which are really great, virtual co-working, Q&A time with me. I want you to have access to me all month long for getting tailored help while you're on this journey. So that is absolutely part of membership. And next, you get access to our community of brand owners, both aspiring and launched, right? We have members who run the gamut. And so it's so supportive because of that. There's so much sharing and engaging, and there's so many experiences that can all be brought together to help one another. And it's really amazing. And I want this to be the place where you find business strategy, but you also find new business friends, right? It's so much less lonely when you are interacting with people who are doing this same thing or have been where you were just not long ago. And then we have the expert sessions. This is where I use my network. I've been in this industry a long time. I think it's closing in on 20 years now, which makes my stomach hurt a little bit. But I use this network to bring in guest speakers so that you are learning new things. You can dive into things without having to spend hours searching on YouTube. So like this week we have an expert coming in to dive into Instagram Reels, how to really use them for your business, right? So those are the kinds of expert sessions we do regularly. And it's a chance for you to learn something from additional experts, but also make those connections in the industry for yourself. And then we have the third thing that you have access to in the Startup Fashion membership, and that's that fast action bonus I was talking about. So I will personally make sure that you get access to the Instagram done for you templates and captions, because I want you to be able to quickly and easily create content for your Instagram with the plug and play templates and the copy and paste like 150 captions. You know, like this is what you need to be doing. You do not need to be spending time trying to figure out what to say and what to post. So every single one of you can join us and get started for $54 and get access to everything. So it's the entire system for launching what I just walked you through, right? Everything that we just talked about, we will dive deep into. And I want you to know that you can use this as your entire guide as you're in your journey. No more like figuring out each morning what you should do. You're going to know exactly what to do. And that feeling is amazing, right? It's such a great feeling. Take it from someone who has been in business a long time and now knows what it means to wake up and have focus and clarity and actually sees progress in their business. It's a really great feeling. So I'm truly honestly like excited and pumped to share this with you, because like I said, I know this works. I know what's possible for you, and I want you to know what's possible for you too. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to share in the chat the link. Can everybody check the chat? Can you, oh no, I didn't share that with everybody. Hold on a second. Always tech issues. Can you see that link? Can everybody tell me? I just want to make sure, because often there's, yes. Okay. Thank you, Christina. Thank you. Thank you. Oh, thank you. Okay, great. I know sometimes there's tech issues and I'm trying to do this on multiple computers, which is always interesting. So Yes. So I want to go through the pricing options with you if you're feeling like this is something that makes sense for you. So we have the annual option, which is $475 for the year. So you get access to the Launch Your Business Blueprint. You get the entire course library, all of the worksheets and templates and checklists. And then, of course, you get the monthly calls and all of the sessions. You get the Facebook community and the fast action bonus with the Instagram done for you templates and the copy and paste captions. So that's what you're going to get access to with the annual option at $475 a year. And you do save $173 with this option because you get a little more than 3 months for free. And listen, with this option, when you commit to a year, you're committing to your goals, right? You need time to launch a fashion business, and signing up for a year of support and guidance on this journey reinforces your commitment to yourself and to your goals. But I do get it. You might not have $475 in your bank account right now. If you do, that is the best option because you save money, and there's a mindset thing that happens when you do commit to something. But if you don't, that's why I created the monthly option. So you can get started for $54. So with that, you're billed monthly and you get access to everything that they get access to in the annual plan. You get access to the Launch Your Business Blueprint, the entire course library, all of the workbooks, templates, checklists. You get access to the sessions, the monthly sessions. You get the Facebook community. You get the Instagram done for you templates, all the things. So if you need that more accessible option, go with the $54. If you want to save some money and really, make a commitment, then go with the annual option. Either way, you are committing to launching your fashion business. You're taking action on your goals, and that is something you should be really proud of. Okay. So we are not just talking about joining a program. We're talking about a massive step towards your life goals. We're talking about a step towards being your own boss, a step towards creating your own schedule, and a step towards making money doing something that you're excited about, right? So our members have a lot to say. Z is one of our members, and she said that she went from being near clueless to having a world of knowledge, which gives me butterflies. It makes me so happy. Nandi said that she is blown away, not only by the resources and all the information, by the support of the community of business owners that are at all different levels. And then Jasmine says she loves all of the personalized attention and support she's received as a member. And that makes me really happy because I know that that's not always the case with membership groups. So to hear her say that makes me smile. So, okay, so there is the link to join. It is in the chat. I will put this link again, just in case. So I'm curious who's joining. I want to know who I'm going to get to meet tonight in the membership. Tell me in the chat if you're joining. I want to see who I'm going to get to know. It always feels good to see that folks are joining in and getting to know that I'm going to get to meet you and everything. Oh, awesome. Hi, Kim. I'm so excited. Jonah, I'm sorry if I'm saying your name incorrectly, but I'm excited that you're going to sign up, and you can tell me in the membership how to properly pronounce your name. So sorry about that. Oh, wonderful. I'm seeing lots of me's. Excellent. Soapy, hi, Soapy. Awesome. I'm so glad you joined. Oh, wonderful. This makes me so happy. Okay, so we just made it to the timer. So what does this mean? The timer has started, so that means that the fast action bonus goes away when the countdown ends. If you have not joined and you have any questions about membership, now is the time to jump in the chat and ask. Seriously, if you have a question, ask me, put them in the chat. That way I can take a look, my team can take a look. I want to make sure that you are 100% confident that membership is right for you, right? I want you to be heard and seen and understood and appreciated. And I want to answer your questions so that this is clearly, you feel clearly and confidently like that this is the right move for you. Okay, so the countdown is going. Let me look into the chat with questions, and they're coming through. This was amazing. Ooh, they're coming through fast. So let me get to some of them. I see. let's see. Oh, yeah. Okay. I'm sorry. They're jumping quickly. So let me get to the first question. Okay. So is it possible to sign up month by month, or is it an annual subscription? It absolutely is possible to sign up month for month. You can join you can choose the monthly option, and you would be billed monthly. You can cancel anytime. That is absolutely an option for you. What else? Okay, so what about someone that can cut and sew and wants to focus on custom pieces? So yes, absolutely. We have a lot of members who are who make custom stuff, and we go into that in the production plan. What to be thinking about if your approach is custom work, or if you are doing a handmade brand, or any of those kinds of things. We don't just talk about needing to hire a group of people in your production plan. We help you figure out, okay, what is your production plan? Is it you? And what does that mean? What does that mean in your plan if you're doing custom work, or if you are doing a handmade brand, or if you want to eventually get to the point of bringing on like a team of independent sewers? It isn't always just about hiring a factory. What else? Let me see here. Oh my goodness, the questions are coming through so quickly that I'm like trying to keep up with them. I should have had somebody send me the questions. So does the membership have lifetime access? So the way the membership works is, this is not a program with an end date. So the reason for that is, it's not, you see a lot out there that's like, okay, I'm with you for 6 months. I know that it takes different people different amounts of time to launch a fashion business, depending on your life circumstances. And so I want you to have me with you for as long as you need me, and then when you don't need me, then you can move on. So there isn't an end point for this. So you have access while you're a member, and you can be a member for as little time or as long as you would like. So let's see. What else do we have here? Oh, so Anna, if you want to post your question here, you can go right on ahead and answer it. Let's see. Carol asks, is this program good for me if I'm not a designer? And I'm not sure what smoky with my own clothing store means, but maybe you just mean you're getting ready to launch a store. Is that what you mean, Carol? So this program is really for those who are developing a physical product. So if you are opening a store, I don't think that this program would be the best investment for you. This is really about getting your product idea launched, and then once it's launched, we really help you with that ongoing marketing to get that launch, go from a successful launch to continue to growing your business. The fast action bonus is the Instagram plug and play templates, and the 150 pre-written captions that you can just copy and paste into your Instagram, so that you're not spending a lot of time doing that. So someone asked, how long would you suggest people become a member? This is a really great question, and there is no specific answer to this. So as I mentioned, different people need different amount of time to go through this process, because some people have day jobs, other people do not. Some people have families that require their time, other people do not. So that again is why this is not like a 6-month program and then see ya, good luck. I'm here for you for as long or for as little as you need. I can tell you this: you will be able to make measurable progress within 2 weeks. You join, you start doing the work. This is not for people who are not action takers. I'm telling you that right now. So if you are not someone who takes action, this membership is not right for you. If you are someone who takes action, then within 2 weeks, you will see a difference in how you're working, what you're doing, all of it. So, and really like how you feel about this whole thing. You will be enjoying this more. You will have a whole new feeling about what it is to launch your fashion business, and you will have made measurable progress in just a few weeks. Yes, Emily, we do. We have an entire course focused on sustainable, building a sustainable brand. I very, very much believe that any brand that's launching now should be doing so sustainably, right? This is not even a question mark anymore. So we have courses on how to look at sustainability in all areas of your business, how to decide what areas of sustainability you will be able to do at launch, and what are the things that you're going to work towards, right? That is something that comes up all of the time, and it's tied to that perfection thing we talked about in the mistakes, where it's like you're trying to do every last thing sustainably, and it's really challenging and it's expensive, and you're feeling guilt that you're not able to do all of it up front. I want you to remove that guilt, so we really help you look at, this is my sustainability plan at launch, and here are the things that I will implement in 6 months, and then here are the things that I will implement in a year. Here are the things that I would love to be doing 3 to 5 years from now, right? So sustainability is absolutely a part of what we teach, because I very, very much believe in it. And I think that is the only way to be launching a brand. Let's see. Should newbies be in the group for a year? Again, it's it it's hard to answer this because it really depends. But yes, if you are like very much, very, very, very much in the idea stage, where it's you've got this idea and you haven't really taken many steps at all towards it, you can expect the process of launching a brand to take minimum 6 months, upwards of a year. So many of our members are with us for a year, and they stay because then they launch and then they want to continue learning from our additional coursework and everything. But it could very well be a year. Absolutely. Okay, so let's see more about the directory. So we have multiple directories as resources for your product development stage. So this is all about, we have a development directory. So it's sample makers, pattern makers, all of those kinds of people. We have a factory directory, and these are global. This is not just based in the US, where we list out different factories that you can reach out to and potentially work with. We have a fabric directory, so we organize it by types of fabric. You can go in, we mark when things are eco, to that question Emily had about sustainability. So we mark the fabric suppliers that share eco fabrics. So yeah, and then once you are launched and ready to start selling, and actually even before you are launched, but if you decide that wholesale is a route that you want to go, we have a directory of retailers that are all over the place. So you could start creating your list of wholesalers that you might want to reach out to, boutiques that you might want to reach out to prior to launch. So people love our directories. Our members very much love our directories. They're very in-depth, very helpful. Chris said, thank you so much for doing this. It's very helpful. I had questions before getting a membership. I'm not a fashion designer myself, but I'm planning to curate emerging designers from all over the world. Do you think membership will be helpful to that? No, I'm going to be completely honest. Again, this is really set up for those of you who are going through the journey of creating a physical product. We are very focused on helping that niche of people. So I wish you the absolute best, Chris, but if you're not going through that process, I don't want you to spend your money on membership. It's certainly not going to give you everything that you need, and I wouldn't feel good about that. Let's see. So Anna, yes, I cannot say exactly in BC, in Victoria, BC, Canada. We do have suppliers in Canada, but I don't know if it's exactly in British Columbia. I'm sorry, I can't answer that exactly, but I do know that we have suppliers in Canada. We also have members in Canada. So there's a lot of potential there for talking to them, seeing who they're working with, all of that. What level of technology do I need to know in order to use the membership? I'm pretty low tech, wondering if I need to know Excel or Office programs. This is a great question, Laura. Thank you for asking this. So let me think about this. A lot of our stuff is, most of it is video that you can just click and watch. Our workbooks are PDFs, so you can download them, and they are fillable, so you can just fill them in yourself right on your computer. We do have some templates that are in Google Sheets, so you will open up Google Sheets and you will use that. So you would have to be comfortable in Google. I'm trying to think of any other tools. We don't do anything in Excel. We use Google Sheets. We don't do anything in Office because we use the Google platform. But it's PDFs that are the workbooks. So I'm thinking it's just the Google Suite that you would need to use. Nothing else is popping in my head. So hopefully that answered your question, Laura. Let's see. Yes, so the directories include contact info. So it's not just here's the name, but here's their website, here's their email address, here's their phone number if they share it. We do share all of that for connecting with them. Let's see. It's okay if you want to join, but you're driving right now. You can still join. We will remain open. The fast action bonus goes away in 2 minutes and 45 seconds, but you can certainly join after. Let's see. How do you expand your audience when it's currently just your friends and family? That is what we dive into, Sandy. This is what we spend an entire step of the blueprint diving into. So you will learn how to do that. Absolutely. Let's see. Trying to get to questions. I'm in a pattern making program and will attend traditional digital. And we'll attend afterwards. I'd like to bring digital patterns to the market. That's great. Would it be better to begin when pattern making program ends? Sarah, that's really up to you. If you feel like you are just heads down in learning how to do pattern making and you're not doing anything else for getting this business going, then it might be better to hold off. However, if you are really want to make progress, and remember what I said, product development, you don't do that in a silo. You do need to be working on marketing while you're developing your product. So it really depends on you and what you want for yourself right now. So I would really just think about that. Are you heads down in pattern making and that's really all you can handle right now? Or are you really trying to lay the foundation for launching this business? And if that's the case, then it would be a good idea to join now so that you can get the ball rolling on things other than the pattern making. Thank you so much for all these questions. There's so much great stuff here. Let's see. Diane or Diana, I'm sorry, your name is a little bit hidden, but will this program and contacts be relevant for me in Australia? And thanks for the sustainability answer. Yes. So it's Diane. Yes, we do have members in Australia, and our directories have resources in Australia as well. One of the things, and I just want to be completely honest here, because of time differences, some of the live sessions might not work out for you. We do record though anything that you can't be at live. So that hope that answers your question. So how do we sign up? I'll share the link again. I know there have been so many questions in the chat, but here is the link again for joining. You're welcome. I'm so glad that you found this session helpful. Thank you all. Okay, so lots of questions. I want to thank you all for all of these amazing questions. This has been really fantastic, absolutely incredible just getting to interact with you. Thank you for coming and hanging out with me tonight. Extra thank you to all of you who should be sleeping right now, but decided to be here instead. That makes me so happy and it's incredibly flattering. I want you to know that you deserve this, right? You deserve success. And if you want to change how you approach your goals every day, I want to show you how to do it. Okay. So you can stop guessing and you can have so much clarity and focus. I cannot wait to meet you inside of the membership. I cannot wait to help you launch your business. And again, thanks for showing up. And I hope you have a fantastic rest of your evening. And those of you in Europe, go to sleep. Okay. All right. Bye.